Hey guys, what's up? This is Millie here. And if you're new to my channel and have not been following me for a while, I have been uploading videos from my cruise vacation last year, and it's taken me a while to post all of them up. And well, I'm at the point where I'm starting to upload the final few videos, then I can start uploading videos from my other trips. If you're also new to my channel, what I like to do is review my accommodation at hotels that I've stayed at during my trip. But given this was a cruising holiday and your accommodation, your activities, pretty much everything and anything in between all come under the one roof, or deck in this case. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a review video of the cruise, just because it was a bit challenging and I wasn't 100% sure about it. But in saying so, this was the first time I went on a cruise. And for that matter, this cruise is by far one of the best cruises out there. So, and I know there's probably a lot of you out there who've not been on a cruise, who are sort of starting to think of going on a cruise, or may have been considering going on a cruise for a while but have not been sure. I'm gonna try and do a review. A lot of this is new to me, so a lot of this will be like, oh my god, I love it. But I'm gonna try being as unbiased as possible and give you a good review, and you can tell me if this provided you with good insight, if you liked it, and we can go from there. One thing that I would do before my cruise, just so I could prepare myself for this cruise, was to watch countless videos on YouTube that are of the exact same cruise and the exact same ship. Not just the cruise as in the ship, but like cruise as in the offshore excursions and things like that. A lot of them were really amazing, and a lot of them were pretty average because you don't really get a lot of idea out of it. But when I actually went on the cruise and experienced it all for myself, I could see how short the videos felt. Not because the producer has not been able to put a good video together, but more so the experiences that you go through on a cruise or on a holiday of that nature. Nothing can compare to it. So I have no doubt that my video will be nothing like what I experienced on the cruise, and it's going to be miles apart. But yeah, as I do with my other review videos, for this one I will also categorize it into the good, the bad, and the ugly. Celebrity Cruises is one of the high-end luxury cruises that exists. Hence the tagline, modern luxury lives here. So this is going to be one of those videos, like I just said, that I'm going to be like, I love this, I love this, I love this. With not a lot of bad and ugly things to say, but I will try being as unbiased as possible, like I just said. Prior to going on the cruise, I used to think that sea days, when you're literally on board, you would have to find things to do or figure out what to do, or like keep yourself busy in some way or the other. I was so wrong. There's not a minute to spare when you are on board. There's lots going on. You really have to figure out what you want to do when you're on board. And the best part is, everything is catered for people of different ages, and also if you've got kids, whilst you need supervision, you can take a break because you don't have to worry about them getting lost, unless they decide to jump off board, which they won't. If you've been on a cruise before, this video might not be of much use to you, but I'm glad you're here anyway. If you've been on a cruise before and you are sort of someone who doesn't want to do the activities, or if you are in general going on a cruise for the first time, and you aren't an activities kind of person at all, you like to keep to yourself, there are a lot of bars and I guess one or two cafes, poolside places, a whole bunch of places you can just go and relax. And if worst case scenario, you can just stay in your stateroom if that is really what you want. It's truly a one-size-fits-all kind of holiday. There's also a lot of places to go dine at, and 7 days just isn't enough to go try them all. In fact, there'll be places that you miss out on. I personally feel that maybe if the cruise was just a little bit longer, a couple more days longer, by the end of it, I really loved sea days. But anyway, if it was just a little bit longer with a little bit more sea time, just so we could experience a little bit more on board, that would have been great. I guess that's something for the bad, but we'll talk about that later. But what I'm getting at is there's so many good places to eat at, and their food is simply amazing. Your breakfast and lunch, you can just go to the Ocean View Cafe if you're on the Celebrity Solstice. I definitely recommend their lunch. Their buffet lunch is so amazing. They've got cuisines from around the world. Go. The staff on board go above and beyond to make sure that you have a great holiday. They make it feel like this is your home for the week. For example, when the ship is docked at a city and you've gone at a port, and you've gone out and seen the city and you've come back, each time you're boarding and getting back on board, they will literally say, "Welcome home," which really makes it feel really special. They take the time to get to know you, get to know your story. The attendant that was assigned to my family and to look after us and to clean up after us in our rooms, she was traveling from the Philippines, and she really took the time to talk to us, to get to know us. And the one thing that I guess I appreciated, even though that was not her job at all, is when they come to clean your room, if they find clothes scattered around, they will actually fold them and put them on the couch, or usually on the couch. I really appreciated that, and I also kind of felt bad because that's not really her job. And so pretty much after the first day, I made sure that I kept my clothes properly, because that really is not her job to do. Honorary mention, shopping. When the ship is at sea, everything is duty free. That rhymed. I was trying to think of something that would rhyme with that, but anyway, I don't have time. So when the ship is at sea, everything is duty free, and every time the ship is docked, everything is closed because of the differing tax costs and things like that. So you can't actually buy anything when the ship is docked. The only things I guess you can buy are food items or drinks and things like that, which goes on your little card that you get. So basically what happens is you get a sea pass card once you board, and you can immediately change your beverage package so that you can buy drinks that are a bit more expensive and things of that nature, and you don't have to constantly pay. They'll take your sea pass card and they'll start accumulating, and then say after 2 or 3 days you can go to the counter and be like, I want to clear out my bill thus far, and then continue on, so you have an idea of how much you've spent, or you can do it all in the one go at the end of your holiday, however you prefer it. Now, whilst the Celebrity Cruises entertainment crew go all out putting together the activities and things like that for the duration of your cruise, the bad thing about it is that at times it can feel like it's a bit too much. For me personally, there were so many times where I had to decide between going to one activity or one show over something else, and that can be a bit disappointing, especially when say for example, if you've chosen the one that you want to go to over something else, and the one that you've ended up at isn't as good as you anticipated it was going to be, and you've missed out on the other one. And oftentimes these are not exactly right next to each other, so it's going to take time for you to go from wherever you are to the other place, thereby missing your own show, missing the show that you wanted to go to, and all of that kind of stuff. So whilst I do think it's good to have a lot of options to do, I wish it was more spread out. And if they know the ones that are good, if they had that with something else, so that people didn't feel obligated to choose one over the other. But I guess that's always going to be part of it. Now, whilst the ship or the crew or anything else in between has nothing to do with this, a cruising holiday can be very hectic. And the reason I say that is because when the ship docks at ports, it's usually docking out very early in the morning, around 6-7 a.m. Sometimes a bit later, 8 or 9, but mostly really early in the morning. And then it leaves late in the afternoon. And whilst you want to maximize your time in the city to go check everything out or do whatever it is, you want to be out there as soon as possible. Please note, you're not in any way obligated to leave the boat. You're not in any way obligated to get off the ship as soon as it docks. You can take your time and go. But if this is a city you're going to for the first time, you do want to get out there quickly, especially if you want to make use of the time before your shore excursion and things like that. You want to walk around or whatever. There will be some cities, in our case, British Victoria, which isn't exactly part of Alaska, which is how this cruise is sold. But because it sort of falls on the way, the ship docks in at Victoria, but it doesn't dock at Victoria till 6 p.m. After which there's really not a lot you can do. And because the ship tends to dock at cities quite often, with maybe one day in between or whatever, it really starts to build up your exhaustion. Now, there's not really anything that I could talk about or list as ugly, because I loved every minute of my cruising holiday. In fact, I have friends telling me to just shut up about the boat, but there's going to be a long time before that happens. I guess what I would like to mention under ugly is to just talk about the staff a little bit, and it's mainly because these people on board, who are looking after you, who are making sure you have a good holiday, they live very strenuous lives. They work for months at a time without a weekend. They have very basic living commodities. Most of the times they're sharing their rooms with at least a couple other people, so they don't even have their own space, so to speak. They don't get to see their families for months at a time because they have to be on board per their contract. Yet they go above and beyond so that you have the time of your life on board. It's just commendable. So please, if you do go on a cruise or whatever, please be courteous to them, be nice, talk to them, get to know them, get to know their stories. If you can help them in any way, make their lives a bit easier or whatever, do that rather than throwing a tantrum at them when you really don't need to. Just be nice to them, in all honesty. And the thing is, knowing that things like this exist, but they still do everything in their power to make sure you have a good holiday, it's amazing. And I don't know if anyone on board is still watching this or has even come across this, but thank you for letting me have a great holiday. And I hope you get to see your family soon. Now, would I ever go back on a celebrity cruise? Heck yeah, I would, without a doubt. But it's unfortunately not in my pay grade to do so. So unless my family is wanting to take me on a cruise again, it'll be a while before I see the insides of any celebrity cruise ship for a while. I would really like to go on Celebrity Reflections, to that suite that the captain of the ship showed to us. I would really like to do that, but soon. Once my pay grade can afford it. I hope this cruise review has been helpful to you. This is the first time I've done anything like this, so I don't really know if it's been helpful. But if there's any questions that I can answer, leave them in the comments below. My social media links are in the comments in the description below. Reach out to me if you need anything, and we can chat there. See you guys next week.